So how do you control a population that's starving? Well, you make them gamble with their own children's lives. That's the world of the Hunger Games, and it all kicks off with the reaping. But here's the thing, it's not just a lottery. It's a terrifying and honestly brilliant system of oppression. Today, we're going to break down exactly how that system works and the impossible choices it forces on people, starting right from page 1.
You know, the story doesn't start with some big grand speech about a dystopia. It opens with this quiet, chilling line, a feeling of absence. This one sentence tells you almost everything you need to know. Our narrator, Katniss Everdeen, she's a protector, and the person she protects isn't there. It's such a personal way to start, and it sets this incredibly somber tone for the horror that's about to unfold.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It is the morning of the reaping in District 12. You can just feel it. The streets are empty, shutters are closed. The entire district is just holding its breath, waiting for those names to be pulled from a glass bowl. But for Katniss, this awful day starts like pretty much any other, with the desperate need to find some food.
And where is District 12? It's pretty much the bleakest corner of a nation called Panem. Now, the official story, the one they tell every single year at the reaping, is that Panem brought peace and prosperity after all these disasters and wars. But the reality? It's a brutal dictatorship run from the gleaming, wealthy capital, which has absolute power over the 12 districts that serve it.
So, welcome to District 12. It's the end of the line. This is coal country, what they call the seam, and life here is pretty much defined by what you don't have. Not enough food, not enough electricity, and definitely not enough hope. Even the big electrified fence that's supposed to keep people locked in is a joke. It's rarely even on. Katniss just slips under it every day to go hunt. Here, survival means breaking the law, trading on the black market, and living with that constant gnawing hunger that the capital uses like a weapon.
So, how do you even cope with a reality like that? Well, out in the woods, the one place she can actually be herself, Katniss meets up with her friend Gale. And he just mockingly imitates the capital's escort, Effie Trinket, with this cruel catchphrase. It's a perfect example of gallows humor, right? They have to joke about it because, as Katniss says herself, the only other option is to be scared out of your mind. It's a small but really powerful act of rebellion, taking the language of their oppressors and twisting it into a bitter joke.
Yeah, but the jokes kind of stop when you look at the actual mechanics of the reaping. See, it's not a game of chance at all. It's a system that's completely rigged against the poor. The capital designed a way to make the people who are already starving pay a much, much higher price than anyone else.
And that system is called tesserae. Here's how it works. If you're starving, you can ask for a year's supply of grain and oil. And the price? Your name gets put into the reaping bowl and extra time. And you can do this for yourself and for every single person in your family. It's a devil's bargain. Do you choose to starve now, or do you choose a much higher chance of being sent to your death later?
And this is where you really see how brutal and unfair the whole thing is. Let's take two 16-year-olds. You've got Madge, the mayor's daughter. She's never needed tesserae, so at 16, her name is in the bowl 5 times. Then you have Katniss, who's taken tesserae every year to feed her family. Her name is in there 20 times. Your level of poverty directly determines your level of risk. And it's a way to keep the districts divided, right? It makes the starving resent the slightly less starving.
And if you think 20 is bad, just look at this number, 42. That's how many times Gale's name is in that bowl. He's 18, it's his last year, and he's been taking out tesserae for his family for years. 42 slips with his name on them. 42 chances to be sent to his death. I mean, think about that. When they say may the odds be ever in your favor, this is what they really mean.
So the stage is set. The whole district is gathered in the square. Everybody knows the rules. One boy, one girl, sent to an arena to fight to the death. The tension is just unbearable as Effie Trinket in her ridiculous pink wig prances up to the stage. "Ladies first," she chirps.
And the name she reads is Primrose Everdeen, Katniss's little sister, the one person in the whole world she is absolutely certain she loves. It's Prim's very first reaping. Her name was only in there one time, one single slip of paper out of thousands, and it was chosen. It's just a moment of pure, shattering shock. Before anybody can even really process what's happening, Katniss is just pushing through the crowd. This is the line that changes absolutely everything. In District 12, the word tribute is basically the same thing as corpse. They haven't had a single volunteer in decades. But for Katniss, it isn't a choice, it's pure instinct. She cannot, will not, let her sister go to her death. Now, the capital expects applause for all this drama, but the people of District 12 give them something far more powerful: silence.
And then, one by one, they touch the 3 middle fingers of their left hand to their lips and hold it out to her. This isn't just a goodbye. This is the boldest act of defiance they can pull off. It's a silent message that says, we do not agree with this, we do not support this. It is an incredible act of solidarity and of rebellion.
But the reaping isn't over. They still have to choose the male tribute. And just when you think the situation couldn't possibly get more complicated for Katniss, the name that's drawn adds this whole other layer of impossible history. Peeta Mellark, the baker's son. Katniss recognizes him instantly, and her reaction is just, oh no, not him. He walks up to the stage, his face is pale, but you can see the alarm in his eyes. For Katniss, this is an absolute nightmare, because the boy she might have to kill in the arena is the very same boy who once saved her life.
Yeah, that memory is just burned into her brain. Years ago, after her father died, her family was starving to death. She was scrounging in the trash behind the bakery, and Peeta's mother screamed at her to go away. But then Peeta, he took a beating for it, but he purposely burned 2 loaves of bread and then threw them to her. That one single act of kindness gave her the hope she needed to keep fighting, to learn to hunt and to survive. So here's the crucial point. Katniss is now being sent into an arena where her only goal is to kill 23 other kids, and one of them is the boy who saved her from starvation. This quote just perfectly captures her problem. It completely transforms the Hunger Games from a simple fight for survival into this deeply complex moral crisis. So, from the grim reality of District 12, Katniss and Peeta are whisked away on this high-speed train to the capital. And here, the fight for survival totally changes. Before you even get to the violence of the arena, you have to fight the battle of perception. And Katniss is about to get a whole new identity. And the whiplash between these two worlds is just staggering. The capital is an explosion of artificial color, of insane wealth, and grotesque fashion. For its citizens, people who have never missed a single meal, the reaping is thrilling entertainment. They cheer for the tribute train, they're excited to watch these children die. And for Katniss, their excitement is just sickening.
In the capital, Katniss meets her stylist Cinna, and he has this revolutionary idea. See, instead of dressing the tributes from the coal district in some ugly miner's outfit, he decides to focus on the coal itself. And what do you do with coal? You burn it. This is the moment a brand is born.
The result is one of the most iconic scenes in the entire story. Katniss and Peeta enter the opening ceremony literally on fire, and Cinna's final instruction, to hold hands, presents them not as enemies, but as a team, a unified front. It's this amazing act of defiance that completely captivates the capital. They become instant stars, and for the very first time since she volunteered, Katniss feels like she might actually have a chance.
But even in that moment of triumph, her survival instincts just kick right back in. She plays the game, she kisses Peeta's cheek for the cameras, but her inner voice is this cold, hard reminder of the truth. Peeta's kindness, his charm, his smile, it's all a strategy. Because in the arena, there are no teams. Every act of kindness could be a manipulation. Every friend is a future killer. And that really brings us to the central question of this whole story. When you are forced to kill or be killed, can you even afford to be kind? Can you trust anyone? This is the conflict that starts on Reaping Day, a conflict between humanity and survival, between debt and death, that is going to define every single choice Katniss makes from this moment on.